right, so good morning, you guys. Today I really wanted to go over graphing exponential functions, and I really wanted to break it down to you because it's not as hard as you think. All right, so let's start very easily with y equals 2 to the x power, okay? And we're going to start here with just plotting our points. So we're going to fill in x. So we're going to put 0, 1, 2, and 3. Let's start there. Okay, so all we're going to do is plug in for x to solve for y. So let's just do a review here. So if we go 2 to the 0 power, we know that equals 1, correct? Okay, we went over that in last video. So we know anything to the 0 power equals 1. And then if we say, well, 2 to the first power, well, we know that's just 2, right? And then if we say 2 to the second power, we know that's 2 times 2, which equals 4, right? And then if we say 2 to the third power, well, we know that's 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2, which we know equals 8, okay? So we've finished that side. Now let's go to some negative numbers. Let's go to -1, -2, and -3. So remember this rule, negative exponents become positive downstairs. So if we said, okay, well, y equals 2 to the -1, we know we flip it, and we say 1 over 2 to the first power, so it becomes positive downstairs, and so that becomes 1/2, okay? So that's 1/2. Now if we said, well, we have 2 to the -2, all you're going to do is just flip it, put a 1 over it positive, so that's going to be 1 over 4. So it's going to be a fraction, 1/4. And then we have 2 to the -3. I mean, that's going to become, flip it, 1, 2 to the third, and so that's going to be 1 over 8. So we have fractions here. So these are our points that we're going to plot, and now we're going to explain what it's supposed to look like. So first we're going to start with 0, 1. That's right there. So our graph is starting here. Now let's go to 1, 2. Okay. Now we're going to go to 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go to 3, 3, and then we're going to go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how this graph is growing so fast? It's going to grow so fast. So let's look at the negative side. So now we have -1. So if we're at -1, this is going to just go up to 1/2, which is going to be about that. It's going to be at the half mark right here. Okay. Now if we go to -2, it's going to be at 1/4, so it's going to be a little bit less. And then if we go to -3, it's going to be 1/8. I mean, 1 over 8. So it's never, and so all of these numbers, even if you kept plugging in negatives here, it's going to keep giving you a fraction, but it's always going to be positive. It's always going to be a positive number. And so it would just keep going this way. So our graph is going to just keep growing. It's going to be really low over here, but it's going to grow really fast on the right side. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that. So when the news says that something grows exponentially, so let's think about the coronavirus right now, the COVID-19 disease, right? And they're talking on the news about, wow, this disease is growing exponentially, meaning it's growing really fast. All right. So this graph is showing exponential growth. So basically, an exponent grows exponentially. So that should kind of put it into perspective when you hear that term on the news. All right, so this is what our graph looks like. It never ever touches 0. It never goes down here, but it's just going to get closer and closer and closer, but it's never going to get to 0. So let's talk about our domain. Okay, remember when we're talking about domain, that means all possible x values, right? So let's think about that. Well, think about this is our x, right? If you eventually, like if you kept going here and you kept going here, it will keep going up and it will keep going up. So that means that our x equals all real numbers, okay? Our domain is all real numbers, that it's going to keep going. Okay, it's not going to ever get negative, but it's just going to keep going. And then if we go to our y, okay, our range. So our range is all possible y values, okay? If we go to all possible y values. Well, if you look at our graph and we're looking at our y-axis, it's going to, our y is always going to be greater than 0 because it's never going to go below 0 here. So this is 0. It's never going to go down here. So our y is greater than 0. So that would be your answer for domain and range. So for x, all real numbers, and for range, y is greater than 0. Okay, so this is a very important one. Y is 2 to the x power. That's one of the main ones that you have to learn. So let's look at a different example. Okay, let's look here at